What kind of turnover are we going to see as far as playoff spots go? And could there be a big trade before, let's say, the trade deadline of 2025? I think this will be some fun questions to get into today. Um, this is Where the Game. I'm Luke. That's Michael. Got it right twice in a row. And yeah, we're going to play a little game we call Grade My Crazy, which is just I give him about 5 takes, not about, but actually 5 takes. And he's going to go through one by one and grade them on the old school grading scale like we're in school. So A, B, C, D, F. And A is going to be the craziest of them all. It's grade A crazy. And then F is, it's got to be. Like, this is absolutely going to happen. You can only use each score one time. So he has to say one is the craziest thing and one is absolutely going to happen. And so that'll be a fun little dealio. So now that we've talked about that, let's get it going. Here we go. So year 2 wide receivers, I think have some big expectations. Malik Neighbors did really well year 1. Brian Thomas Jr. was kind of a revelation, as well as Ladd McConkey. Ramadunze had moments, but the entire Bears offense struggled. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. just wasn't as good as people thought he was going to be, or wasn't as productive, I should say, as people thought. There have been people who've said, hey, well, not just people, he has come out and said that the game actually didn't really slow down for him until like week 11, week 12. But then after that, it was better. You could kind of tell on the field, he was a little better. So my, whatever you're going to call this, my crazy take here is that Marv is actually going to lead year 2 wide receivers. So for our second one, someone's going to break the rookie rushing record. Now I looked this one up. And back in 1983, Eric Dickerson, of course, because Eric Dickerson has everything, it seems like, had 1,808 yards. Now, that's a huge number, though we did just have 2 players be above that last year. And with the 17th game, they've got kind of an edge. This has been perceived as a really, really good running back draft. Ashton Janty and Amarian Hampton kind of leading the way, but a lot of guys, I mean, I think I heard something like 12 to 14 of these running backs were believed to be capable of being a starting running back week 1 if a team needed them to be. So great draft for running backs. Could one of them be a contender to break the rookie rushing record? As far as turnover goes with playoff spots, it tends to be like 5 or 6 or 7, I think, a year, different teams. So 14 teams go. It tends to be like 6 or so every year get flipped. Like it's just a new team that wasn't in the year before. Last year was only 4. I'm not going to go through which 4 it was, but the point is, let's say it was 4. For this year, one of these 2 teams doesn't make it, Philadelphia or Kansas City. Which one of them, or not which one, but one of these 2 teams won't make the playoffs. You don't have to tell me which one, but just one of them won't. Next, the Bears did some smart things this offseason. They frequently get this imaginary, championship belt of offseason champs.
Yep.
And can they use that and actually grow and ascend into winning the NFC North? This might combine with, the lack of Ben Johnson in Detroit, bringing them down just a notch. Maybe Green Bay doesn't have the most amazing year. And, what needs to happen here is this completely crazy. There you go. Lastly, I feel like this might actually happen. And maybe this one's the obvious F. I don't know. I'm hoping Marv leads year 2 wide receivers is the obvious F. But the other one is Tyreek Hill gets traded before the trade deadline. I don't have a specific team in mind, and watch, we'll get news in like 5 minutes that he gets traded, and this was silly. But, he's 31 years old, I believe, this year, and he has voiced frustration with being there already. He is not, there's no way he goes into next season, that is season of 26, with the current contract structure. His cap hit for 2026 is almost $52 million. So that won't happen. It makes some sense for the Dolphins to maybe try to move off of him while he still has some value. So there's my takes. There's my explanations for maybe how they could happen and the parameters for what needs to happen. Go ahead and give me the grades whenever you are ready.
There's some really entertaining ones on this list. I'm just trying to think back through them. The Marv leading the year 2 wide receivers, that's an interesting one. It's funny. I almost feel like the biggest thing to that is not him, making this huge leap so much as the guys around him, so that he's not the only target. So I'll be interested to see how he does with that. But I could see the possibility there. Man, the rookie rushing record one, that would be tough. And I do think there's some guys who are going to get a real shot, right? Like, I expect Ashton Janty to get a real, like, hey, he's going to get a lot of touches, and we're going to get to see what he is. Maybe even Travion Henderson if he is productive with the Patriots. But that's a high order. That's a tall order there. Philly or Kansas City, I feel like either one of them is a quarterback injury away from, hey, they're not making the playoffs. But I don't know. Like, even with that, I kind of wonder. They always seem to work things out. It's not just a quarterback team. The Bears won in the NFC North. Boy, wouldn't that be something? I don't even know. The planets would have to align, I think, on that one. And he'll trade it before the deadline. I think we're one. Speaking of quarterback injuries, I think we're one quarterback injury away from that as well. I think the Bears won in the NFC North. I'm going to say that is the least likely thing that I see on here. I'll put that there. I don't know. Maybe I'll rearrange that. I think the rookie rushing record's sake. So let's do that. I'll make that the least likely. That's the craziest.
Mm-hmm.
The next craziest will be the Bears this year. Not everything. It's just this year. I don't think y'all figured enough stuff out.
Bears.
I think the next would be Philly and KC not making the playoffs. I think that they're, I think Philly's in a really tough division. I think Kansas is as well, but I think they have at least one, if not two steps above their competition for the most part. I hate to say that. Sorry, other Dallas fans out there for the betrayal. Let's see. And then he'll trade it before the deadline. I think that's actually probably the most likely. Followed not too far behind by Marv. I could really see the potential this year for him to swing back around. There's a good class of people, but I also think that similarly, are they stuck there on their own, or will they get overshadowed by somebody else, and that'll take away numbers from them as well? Where I really think that Marv, like it's him or nobody. It's Trey and him on that team. So I think he's got a real shot to put up some, CD Lamb or whoever type numbers from a couple years ago and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and the Hill trade, I'm almost sad about it. I think that they have a lot of good things going there, but it's so hinged on Tua just not getting touched. So yeah, what do you think? Are there any on there that you're like, nah, I think this is not likely at all or totally likely?
I think CBA are relatively close. They're the ones that you have as ABC, I should say. I don't know why I did it backwards.
Yeah.
Are relatively close. Like the Chiefs and the, I mean, if the thing you have to say, oh, this thing won't happen or will happen or whatever it is, well, if the quarterback's got to get hurt. Well, I mean, that does happen every year. Some quarterbacks get hurt. But that means that the team's incredibly well constructed, and you can almost assume, they're probably the favorites to be the 1 seeds in both conferences.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that one's there. The Bears win the North. I mean, that's for almost any team that was a 4 seed last year. It's going to be really hard for them to become the 1 seed in their division.
Yeah,
take it over.
Yeah.
So I think that one's just normal. Their division happens to be, maybe excluding them, the best division in football. Maybe with them, still the best division in football. Yeah. So it's that one's challenging. I totally get that. The rookie rushing record, there's a reason why it hadn't been broken. Part of it is Eric Dickerson was really, really good. He owns both of those records. So that will be challenging. I do like that we have a couple of decent contenders this year. Same division, oddly enough, with the Raiders and the Chargers. The Raiders, Pete Carroll's there. He's going to want to run the ball. He's not going to want to put all the pressure on Geno Smith, go throw it 50 times a game to Brock Bowers and me. And so he's going to want to run a lot, but Amari and Hampton's in a great spot because they've already shown that they want to run the ball. They got a pretty good offensive line there for it. And the two guys they had for most of last year, I believe, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, gone, both gone. So he walks in the door as the heir apparent, or the most likely to be the one there and get a ton of reps. So I think that we've got a shot at that one again with the extra game as well. So, but it's
that's a good point.
But it's still, I mean, it's a 40-year-old record, and guys like Adrian Peterson couldn't break it. So
yeah,
I mean, it's pretty special. I obviously am biased for the Marvin Harrison Jr. take, but certainly hoping. I don't think it's completely nuts. Kind of where you are. I think the Tyreek Hill one, it's a quarterback injury away, yes, but even with him, they weren't always stellar. They should be better this year. But if they start out the season slow and they're 1-4 to start the season, it's going to get really loud in that locker room, or more to the point, the media days surrounding it. And it's so it could happen. It may happen before the start of the season, but we'll see. So yeah. Okay, well, cool, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So that closes up our Grade McCrazy segment for this week. Thanks for everyone for joining us, and another quick thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. We've had a lot of fun making these videos, and we want to keep going on having fun making these videos, and we have some goals. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers by the start of the season. So if anyone's willing, please hit the little subscribe button. Let's see if we can we get to 100. So we'll see you all next episode. I'm not exactly sure what we're doing next after this. So see you soon. Have a great day.